In the heart of Accra, Ghana, Drive to Inspire Africa is lighting the path to a brighter future for the youth of Africa. Founded by Nanajwa Hackman, DTIA empowers teenagers and young adults, especially girls, to reach their full potential.
Drive to Inspire Africa is a not-for-profit organization focused on education and mentorship. What we do are key areas of activity and programs are outreach to schools, mentorship, career guidance. So in the very near future, we'll be granting scholarships as well with the aid of the institutions that we partner and are donors. The idea behind it is to empower these young ones, inspire them and motivate them to be able to unlock the talents that they have in them and be able to really access their dreams.
Through mentorship, internship opportunities, scholarships, and career guidance, DTIA has touched the lives of thousands across Ghana.
I got opportunity to go to Asati Radio at Accra to meet nice people who showed me how to do everything. Now I know how to report at a studio, I know how to give news, I know how to write a lead, I know how to write a story.
At Deftraco, I had the opportunity to work hand in hand with the project surveyor to survey the platform for piling to occur. This is done to ensure that when the piling machine comes, it will have a stable foundation for the process to occur.
DTIA's mentorship program connects young girls with professionals who provide guidance and support, helping them to build self-belief and leadership skills.
Team Drive to Inspire is doing an amazing job. They are helping young girls and boys to nurture their talent, to get to experience and even speak to professionals, which is a very good way to start any career at all.
For me, I'm actually inspired because at this age, like the student, I didn't even think of what I wanted to be. You know, it took someone to inspire me. So we're doing this, inspiring young students to know what they want. It's a great initiative.
Seeing them addressing their fears and offering some form of career guidance has nothing short of amazing. And it's exciting to see that these kids have various pertinent issues concerning their careers, and we providing the answers they need has really gone a long way to help them.
This is something laudable. This is something that is important. I believe there has never been a better time to influence or inspire the youth, because it's heartwarming to see the satisfaction in their eyes once we've spoken to them.
Scholarships provided by DTIA are helping students from less privileged backgrounds to pursue higher education and vocational training. From the Greater Accra region, Eastern, Central, and Volta regions, DTIA's outreach is transforming lives, fostering a new generation of leaders and change makers. With every step taken, Drive to Inspire Africa is making a difference. Join us in driving the change for a better tomorrow. In the heart of Accra, Ghana, Drive to Inspire Africa is lighting the path to a brighter future for the youth of Africa. Founded by Nanajwa Hackman, DTIA empowers teenagers and young adults, especially girls, to reach their full potential.
Drive to Inspire Africa is a not-for-profit organization focused on education and mentorship. What we do are key areas of activity and programs are outreach to schools, mentorship, career guidance. So in the very near future, we'll be granting scholarships as well with the aid of the institutions that we partner and are donors. The idea behind it is to empower these young ones, inspire them and motivate them to be able to unlock the talents that they have in them and be able to really access their dreams.
Through mentorship, internship opportunities, scholarships, and career guidance, DTIA has touched the lives of thousands across Ghana.
I got opportunity to go to Asati Radio at Accra to meet nice people who showed me how to do everything. Now I know how to report at a studio, I know how to give news, I know how to write a lead, I know how to write a story.
At Extraco, I had the opportunity to work hand in hand with the project surveyor to survey the platform for piling to occur. This is done to ensure that when the piling machine comes, it will have a stable foundation for the process to occur.
DTIA's mentorship program connects young girls with professionals who provide guidance and support, helping them to build self-belief and leadership skills.
Team Drive to Inspire is doing an amazing job. They are helping young girls and boys to nurture their talent, to get to experience and even speak to professionals, which is a very good way to start any career at all.
For me, I'm actually inspired because at this age, like the student, I didn't even think of what I wanted to be. You know, it took someone to inspire me. So we're doing this, inspiring young students to know what they want. It's a great initiative.
Seeing them addressing their fears and offering some form of career guidance has nothing short of amazing. And it's exciting to see that these kids have various pertinent issues concerning their careers, and we providing the answers they need has really gone a long way to help them.
This is something laudable. This is something that is important. I believe there has never been a better time to influence or inspire the youth, because it's heartwarming to see the satisfaction in their eyes once we've spoken to them.
Scholarships provided by DTIA are helping students from less privileged backgrounds to pursue higher education and vocational training. From the Greater Accra region, Eastern, Central, and Volta regions, ATIA's outreach is transforming lives, fostering a new generation of leaders and change makers. With every step taken, every movement begins with a vision, a dream to inspire, uplift, and create opportunities where none once existed. This is the story of Drive to Inspire Africa. Founded with the mission to empower and transform the lives of young people, Drive to Inspire Africa is more than an organization. It's a wind for change. Our vision is to build a generation of confident and capable leaders on our continent, using the transformative power of education and mentorship. Our core values, accountability, resilience, and compassion, guide everything we do. Through our flagship programs, we have created platforms for young people to learn, grow, and lead. Our mentorship initiatives connect students with experienced professionals who guide them in personal and career development. Our scholarship program ensures that brilliant but underprivileged young girls can access tertiary education, breaking financial barriers to success. Through our internship program, we provide real-world work experiences that prepare young people for the job market. Our journey has taken us to schools across Ghana, reaching over 11,000 students through outreach programs in multiple regions, specifically the Eastern, Central, Volta, and Greater Accra regions. From the bustling city classrooms of Accra to the rural landscapes of the Eastern region, we have left an indelible mark. In 2024, we extended our impact to the Volta region through a partnership with the NECA Youth Foundation. That outreach touched the lives of 1,500 students during the World Changers Summer Camp, where professionals from various industries shared their knowledge and experiences. We recently held our first outreach at the tertiary level at the University of Ghana through a partnership with the SRC with a desire to continue this initiative. Our impact goes beyond students. It reaches facilitators, stakeholders, and volunteers. We organized a workshop for guidance and counseling personnel of the Ghana Education Service in the Greater Accra region, equipping them with the tools to support even more young minds. For many, Drive to Inspire Africa is more than just an organization. It's a turning point. Like a young girl who once doubted her potential, but through our mentorship program has found the confidence to chase her dreams. Or the first cohort of scholarship beneficiaries whose financial struggles no longer stand in the way of their education. These are the stories that drive us forward. None of this would be possible without the dedication of our volunteers. These selfless individuals commit their time, energy, and expertise to helping young people flourish. They travel long distances, step into unfamiliar communities, and invest in light, not for recognition, but for impact. Their passion fuels this movement, proving that change is driven by people who care. The journey does not end here. There are more young minds to inspire, more dreams to nurture, and more lives to transform. But we cannot do it alone. We need you. Whether you choose to sponsor a student, volunteer your time, or partner with us, your support makes all the difference. Join us in building a future where every young person has the chance to succeed. Drive to Inspire Africa, because when we inspire, we ignite change.
Hi, good afternoon or good evening, depending where you're joining from. Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Robert Asante Jari, and I'll be moderating this webinar today. This webinar has been put together by Drive to Inspire Africa, which is a non-for-profit organization that operates from Accra, Ghana, in West Africa. DTIA is committed to unlocking the potential of teenagers and young adults, especially girls between the ages of 13 and 25. We do this through mentorship, scholarships, leadership development, and access to life-changing opportunities that improve education, career pathways, and overall life outcomes, empowering them to become assets to their families, communities, and the world. Before we begin, we would like to know where you are joining us from. So kindly go into the chat box and kindly let us know where you are joining us from. Also, if you are not following us on social media, we would entreat you to kindly do so. Visit any of the social media platforms and punch in Drive to Inspire Africa. Okay, so we have someone joining us from Liberia. We have others from Botswana, Uganda. Okay, Nairobi, Kenya is also present. And I believe as the session goes on, people will continue to drop where they are joining us from. So as I was saying, kindly follow us on social media. That is where we put most of our information and most of our events for our audience. So before we begin, here are a few things for you to note. Number one, please ensure that your audio is muted at all times when the speaker is presenting. Also ensure that if you have any questions, you can note it down or you can leave it in the chat box, because after the speaker's presentation, there will be a Q&A session where you can get to ask your questions. Between that period, you will be able to use the raise your hand feature on the Zoom app, and then you'll be given the clearance to go ahead to speak. Also, yes, I think that would be it. Today's topic is overcoming setbacks and building resilience. And as young people, hi everyone. Sorry, I do apologize. We've been having some technical challenges. Sorry for the late start. My name is Roberta Santier-Jare, and I'll be moderating today's session. This webinar has been put together by Drive to Inspire Africa, which is a non-for-profit organization that operates from Accra, Ghana. DTIA is committed to unlocking the potential of teenagers and young adults, especially girls between the ages of 13 and 25. We do this through mentorship, scholarships, leadership development, and access to life-changing opportunities that improve education, career pathways, and overall life outcomes, empowering them to become assets to their families, communities, and the world. So if you are not following us on social media, please do well to do so. Visit any of the platforms and just punch in Drive to Inspire Africa. I'll quickly go over the housekeeping rules. Number one, please ensure your audio is muted at all times. Two, if you have any questions while the presentation is ongoing, kindly drop it in the chat box. Three, there'll be a Q&A session after the speaker's presentation. During that period, use the raise your hand feature on Zoom to draw the attention of the speaker. And once you are given the go ahead, you unmute yourself and then you ask the question. Today, we are talking about overcoming setbacks and building resilience. And as young people, I believe life will not always go as planned for us. It is important that we know how we should be able to navigate ourselves out of setbacks and then help us build on our professional and career goals. So, helping us delve into this topic is Dr. Dania Brewster. She was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, before relocating to Georgia 18 years ago. Her journey in higher education began at Spelman College, where she distinguished herself as an avid community servant through the Bonus Scholar Program in the West End community, completing over 1,500 hours of community service. In 2018, she graduated with a bachelor's degree in biology, setting the stage for her pursuit of her career in medicine. Dr. Brewster graduated from Morehouse School of Medicine in 2024 with a doctoral degree. Her passion for pediatric care led her to embark on the next phase of her medical journey by completing her residency at Emory University School of Medicine. Dr. Brewster's dedication to serving communities, combined with her academic achievements and commitment to pediatric medicine, underscores her future aspirations in advancing healthcare and making meaningful impact in children's lives. We are very honored to have you, Dr. Brewster. The floor is yours.
Let me share my screen. Sorry if I sound nasally. I was sick this week, but we're getting over it. But I'm very happy to be here and be speaking to all of you all today. So give me a second while I pull up my presentation. Okay. All right, give me 1 second.
So for those just joining, kindly drop in the chat box where you are joining from. Okay, we have Linda joining us from Accra, Ghana. We have someone from Zambia. Clinton is from Kenya. Botswana, we have Amanto Poloko, if I'm mentioning the name right. And then we have Nafisatu from Liberia. Dr. Brewster?
Yes. Let me, what? Sorry.
Okay.
Can
No,
you
it's
see
fine.
anything when I share my
No,
screen? No, not right
no.
now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's not it. I'm so sorry for the technical difficulties. Are you, wait.
I think it came for a brief moment.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we are seeing your screen now.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, as Robert said, today we'll be talking about navigating setbacks and finding strength throughout the journey. And I feel like this is something I can speak to throughout my journey of coming from parents who were from Barbados all the way as first generation immigrants, navigating the way to become a first generation doctor and having to face different setbacks along the way. I'm not sure if somebody's unmuted. So a little bit of who I am. As mentioned before, I was born in Brooklyn, New York. I lived there for about 20 years, 10 years, I'm sorry. And then I relocated to Georgia where I went to Spelman College. And then I did go to Morehouse School of Medicine. And now I'm at Emory, where I am a pediatric resident. So I work with children. And it has been an amazing experience. Something that I'm very passionate about is community service. I think it's very important that as a doctor, you fight for equity for others. So, health equity is something that's very important for me, and also mentorship is something that is close and dear to my heart because I want to empower the next generation to go into healthcare. So, today, like after this session, of course, answer questions, and I'm willing to help anyone along their journey because it takes a village to get where you need to go. So, I always say, that medicine is more than just a career for me. I say it's truly a purpose, and this sense of purpose has driven my journey. Not only by like the knowledge and skills that I acquired, but really the commitment to make a difference in people's life, whether that is inside the hospital or outside the hospital. So today I'm really excited to share like why I felt that medicine is my purpose and more than a career. So, my story started when I was 9 months old. My parents like to call me their miracle baby. So, 28 years ago, I became a case study at SUNY Downstate Hospital in Brooklyn, New York. And at 9 months, my mom was holding me. Just imagine your mom holding you, and all of a sudden I was started to have these seizures. My body was shaking. I was having these fevers, and my mom didn't know what was going on with me. When they took me to the doctor and to the hospital, the physicians didn't even know like what was my diagnosis. And of course, that was puzzling for my parents as well as the doctors. And my parents truly thought that that was going to be the end of my life. But luckily, there was a resident who was there, and with throughout all of this uncertainty or them not knowing what was wrong with me, she suggested that they check my calcium levels, and when they did, my calcium levels were severely decreased. That I was at the risk of dying. And it was just after hearing my story, hearing the story from my parents about how this one resident made a small suggestion of checking my calcium, and that saved my life. I knew I wanted to go into a field of medicine and be that person that made a suggestion or was there for family to change the whole trajectory of somebody else's life. So that's a little bit of like how my purpose of medicine started, and like what is my motivation behind why I love medicine is because that young resident who saved my life has helped me to want to go in the hospital and save other people's lives. Um, and sorry. Okay. So after knowing that I wanted to become a doctor at 9 years old, I immersed myself in different experiences from a young age and even in high school because I knew I wanted to go into medicine. So I was shadowing doctors, I was volunteering, I was engaging in some research in high school as well. And in this photograph, I'm here with like my childhood best friend. Her name's Hadaya, and we did a med prep program, a medicine program in high school for people who were interested in going to the medical field. And I put this picture here because this experience was another like pivotal moment because during the program, I was able to hold a cadaver's heart, and a cadaver's heart is basically a dead person's heart, um, unfortunately. But having that heart in my hand was very pivotal to me because it symbolized the weight of holding somebody's life in my hand. And I feel like that's what we do every day as doctors. Like we have so many kids' lives in our hands, and it's up to us to give them the best treatment and allow them to, give them the right treatment so they could go on and live in their purpose. So from doing all of that, I wanted to go to Spelman College. That was like my dream school. And I knew that Spelman is an all girls college here in Atlanta. And it does prepare a lot of like Black women to go onto medical fields as well as other fields. I knew that I wanted to be an environment where I would thrive and I can get to the point where I could be not only a person that was educationally ready, but I feel like Spelman teaches you how to be culturally aware, um, like learning about your like the history of the diaspora. It's like more than just learning. Like I feel like I learned about who I am, my roots, and everything, and going to Spelman. I think that's very important to be culturally competent. So after spell, okay, I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, yeah. So this is kind of like a roadmap of my medical journey. So I just talked about my NICU admission, how I had the hypoglycemia, and that's what kind of sent me into wanting to become a doctor. At Spelman College, I majored in biology. So yes. Ooh. So yes, at Spelman College, I majored in biology, and I it was like a no-brainer to do biology because I wanted to, I knew I would get all my prerequisites to get me ready for medical school. So I did that as well. And then coming into Spelman, I was chosen amongst the class that was accepted to receive the scholarship, which was a bond scholarship. And with this, I was able to work in the community. I love community service. So I was able to work at local schools, so work with kids from underserved environments. I was able to serve at the food bank. And also, I spent most of my time working at a medical clinic where I was able to see how to manage an outpatient clinic, which is very cool and it's something that I want to go into and open once I graduate from residency. And down the line, I would like to open like a free clinic to help people who cannot afford medical care. So having that foundation was very important. Additionally, I also volunteered in mentorship organizations, also working with young girls, helping them, find themselves and give them confidence and offering them all the advice for them. And while at Spelman, I continued doing research. I did molecular biology research. As you can see here in the top left, I was doing some research in New Orleans. And then this is just a picture of me after I graduated and everything. But I feel like going to Spelman, I came in wanting to do biology, but sometimes the road is not straight. And I say this is because I had my first roadblock. So during junior year, like I said, from 9 years old, I wanted to become a doctor, and nobody could tell me otherwise. But I started to experience burnout. And I felt like I was so involved doing everything. And I kind of felt like I questioned my dream of becoming a physician, and I wanted to choose another path. So I thought about going into event design. I thought about going into like fashion, and my parents are Caribbean. So they were like, "You went through all this schooling to just go and do fashion event planning," and I was like, "Yeah," but I was just so burnt out at that point that I felt like I could not like keep going. So I feel like that was my first roadblock. But fast forward to senior year, I decided that I wanted to become a doctor again. I had a full circle moment of why I wanted to go into medicine and like why it was important for me. So, despite me wanting to change my path, I made sure I still kept up with my grades and did everything I had to do. So, I did end up graduating with honors. And one thing I would say, I'm a person who likes to plan out their life. And graduation time, in my head before coming to Spelman, I would have thought I would have been accepted to medical school and going straight through, but that wasn't the case. At this point, I was graduating and I didn't have a clear plan. I still wanted to become a doctor, but I knew that because I took that setback when I thought I wanted to change my career briefly during my junior year, I didn't take the MCAT, which is the test you have to take to get into medical school. So I had a delay, and it was very hard because a lot of my friends were getting their big girl jobs and traveling across the country. My roommate, she actually graduated salutatorian of the class and got accepted into a PhD program, and it was me like trying to figure it out, and that was really really hard. And but I feel like delay is not denial because I was accepted into the med prep program at Emory, and this was a program that offered it was like a full scholarship for you to like go to the campus and stay there, and like you get teaching every day for the MCAT. So even though it wasn't like the job offer of your dreams, I was able to still keep going and be accepted into his program, which I was very thankful for. So now so in between graduating from Spelman and starting medical school, I took a 2 year gap year. So after finishing the med prep program, I studied, I did what I had to do. I was trying to get my everything back on track, and I took the MCAT, and I did not do well. And as somebody who like did well in school, graduated with honors, I was distraught. I could not believe that I like basically did terrible on this test. And I'm like, I'm not gonna get into medical school. And I would say honestly, that was like my first true failure because I was like, wow, like I never felt the way I did. Like it took me a couple months to get back in the groove of starting to study back for the MCAT again because I just couldn't believe that I bombed this test that was so important for my future. But with perseverance, I think one of the key takeaways from that, me taking that test and not doing well, was that I had to develop perseverance. I took the test two more times and then I increased my score over 10 points. So when I took the test the second time with the MCAT, if you feel like you didn't do well, you had the option of voiding the test. So like you took the test is 8 hours long. So I sat through an 8 hour test. At the end, I didn't feel confident in my like in that test, so I voided it. So it just didn't count against me. I just sat through an 8 hour test just because. However, I took it a third time a month later because I had to apply to medical school that year. So by me having to take the test a third time, the second time that round, I had to apply to medical school late. So applications open here in America around June, and I was taking my MCAT in August, and I got back my scores in October. So I'm applying in October where people who applied in June are getting acceptances, and now I'm applying. So it was a risk, but I knew that this was my dream, and I was like, you know what? If it's for me, like the Lord will open the door and everything will work out. And I applied. I got 3 interviews, which I was so thankful for because again, I was very late in the interview process. So I was very thankful, and I got one acceptance into Morehouse, which was the one I really wanted to go to because it was here in Atlanta and I wanted to stay close to home. Um, so now going into medical school. Um, so coming to medical school, I was so excited, first generation doctor, but with a first generation doctor, this path is filled with a lot of unique challenges because I didn't have a clear roadmap. I didn't have a mom that was a doctor, a dad that was a doctor. I was the one who was creating this path. Um, but rather than letting those barriers hold me back, I use this as motivation. I learned to advocate for myself in different settings. I learned how to seek out mentors, and I turned all the obstacles that I went through of me not even doing well on the tests before my MCAT and using that to help me through medical school when I had different challenges. So I feel like having that failure with that first MCAT was very well, I'm thankful for it because it helped me build a new character in myself that I didn't have before. In medical school, there are times where you will have failures. I had a time in medical school where on my first rotation, we have to do clinicals, and I was really bad with the timing on my first clinical exam, and I failed the test. And I kind of like went back into like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. I studied, I did everything I need to do, but with that, I used the skills I used when I first failed, well, not failed, but did well, did bad on my first MCAT, helped me to get through that. And I was able to go through all my other clinical rotations without passing them, getting honors, and then retaking that test and doing well. And then doing really well on the test to get into residency. So I feel like delays not the now. I think some things happen for a reason to push you and help you to develop certain skills to make you stronger. So I kind of use all my experiences to kind of help me overcome different obstacles. But medical school is challenging, even though it's exciting. You do have really long exams, tough exams, and also like there's moments of doubts and imposter syndrome of like questioning like how you got here and if I could keep going. But I feel like in medical school I met a lot of people who were in the same boat as me as first generation doctors, and I feel like it's good to have a community, and also like mentors to kind of help you keep going when it gets hard and you feel like you can't do it, because sometimes those thoughts are inevitable. But if you could look at me, you could look at other people and be like, if they could get through it, then I can. So yes, so now I went into residency, and going into residency is and serving in the field that once saved my life has been so fulfilling and very rewarding because I just every time especially when I'm in the NICU and I'm dealing with babies, I always think about my story, and that's like a full circle moment of being able to serve babies and serve children on their worst days and trying to provide hope and being that light for them in their most difficult time. I would say that overall residency comes with like long hours, sleepless nights as medical school, but you're constantly learning new things. And I feel like I have a learned growth and discomfort and humility. I feel like in times where I feel like I don't know anything and I am in new areas where I have never treaded before, I use those moments to like build resilience. And I feel like every challenge in residency has pushed me towards become the physician that I dream of becoming. And even though you do face imposter syndrome where you feel like, you might not be good enough, or this like you might not know enough, there's you have to remind yourself about your why and remember that you were chosen for a reason and you weren't put there just by chance. So always keep that in the back of your head and know that you are there for a reason. um, but overall I would say that what I have learned is that your start doesn't define your finish. Remember that setbacks are setups for your strength. Each challenge I have faced has helped serve as the building blocks for my resilience. Um, you belong um, wherever you are, you belong. And even though you may doubt it, it's important to remind yourself about the achievements and about the journey that you took to get there. And like I said before, it's very important to find a community. There's no success alone. You cannot get to the next step by yourself. You need people, you need a team because the road of becoming a doctor or the road of becoming anything successful is very challenging sometimes. So you need to have people to kind of help you along the way. Um, and then, like, your story is can be somebody else's survival kit. So I feel like even though I went through all of this, having to retake the MCAT 3 times, having different challenges, navigating this life as a first generation doctor, I feel like now I'm able to talk to you all and give you all the tips I have learned to serve as your survival guide. So I feel like I'm thankful for everything I have went through. I wouldn't change anything. I feel like it has built character, has um, allowed me to mold into a person who I really love that I'm becoming. So I don't regret anything along my journey. Um, but I would say that when I think about my journey in medicine, I think about the baby who was in the NICU that was fighting for her life. And fast forward to today, I'm the doctor at the bedside. I care for infants, I care for children, I care for families in their most vulnerable moments. And every time I comfort a parent or comfort a small victory, I remember how I started. And I know firsthand with hope, care, and perseverance, you could do anything you put your mind to. And that is the end of my presentation.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that insightful presentation. I think one line I picked from there was don't give up, remind yourself about the why. And we move on to the Q&A session. I believe I've seen a few questions. The first one is from, okay, Drive to Inspire Africa says, how do you support others to overcome challenges and build team resilience?
How do I support it to so overcome and build team resilience. So I think in supporting others, I feel like in it's offering advice. So like depending on whatever you have went through is giving you if like giving you advice based on my experience or others' experiences as well on what I feel like will best help you in that moment. And then building team resilience, I feel like you have to look past the negative and try to find the positive in whatever you're going through. And it's hard to do that, but I feel like when you focus on the positive, it helps you to build that confidence to know that you could keep going.
Okay. The other question is from DPO, and the question is: so, in all these struggles, Dr. Brewster, did you have any people who guided you in how to pull through, what to do, and all? I note you mentioned that your mom didn't know much about medicine and so on. Yeah.
Yeah, so like while I was at Spelman, I was involved in a lot of different organizations. I was able to even meet doctors. And I actually met this one doctor who was very like when I was going back and forth between like fashion and event planning and becoming a doctor, she was like she was like dressing like she was dressed so nice and like I could tell she was into fashion and she was a doctor. And I was like, that's somebody who I would want to, talk to because you kind of represent everything I want to become. So I feel like it's finding somebody who you admire and who you think you could gain something from. And for her, that was her name was Dr. Candace, and like me and her like this click automatically, and just learn about her story and how like she balances her love for like fashion and doing other things with medicine kind of helped me to learn like I nothing has to be black and white. You could still do medicine, you could still do other things that complements your hobbies. Because I feel like medicine, you can't do medicine every day, all day, because you'll burn out. So having those outlets like fashion and so like social media and different things like that can be helpful. And learn that from her, I think was very important in helping me to keep going.
So one question I had written down, and I see that Bridget has also put that question down, is you did mention that you took like a 2-year break when you were in
Mm-hmm.
school. And I think for young people, one of the things that is hard is when things are not going right with you, and then you see those around you having like very like good life, right? So how did you block that noise of seeing that okay, everyone around you is doing very well, yet you have had to take like a pause on your own life? And also let me connecting that to Bridget's question. She's like, were you at a point worried about lagging behind, and how did you pull yourself together?
Yeah, I was definitely. That was a great. It's a great question. So in terms, I felt like I said, my friends were going on, and I felt like I was at a stoplight, and I didn't know if my life was going go right or left. But I feel like I had to. I'm a very determined person. So once I had in my head, like, okay, this is not my reality. This is like I'm paused here for a reason. I don't know why. I don't know why, but I know I have to do these certain things to keep going. And even though I use my friends' successes to keep me going because I knew that at that point, I couldn't stop there because I'll be stopping there and doing and doing nothing. And I'm like, I have to do like I worked too hard like throughout my entire life to stop now. So even though I might have to take a different path and they may look different, I knew that's what I had to do. And in that, some people, even your friends, wouldn't understand. Like there were some points where like they'll be traveling and doing all these different things, and I couldn't do it because I was either studying for my MCAT, trying to get into medical school, and even when I was in medical school and they're still traveling and they're making really good money, I'm like, I'm on loans. So I can't live the same lifestyle as you. And sometimes I have lost friends for that and because they didn't understand that this is like a sacrificial period. And it's like you have to look at it as this is not my forever. This is temporary, but I have to do this to get to the next level. And when you look at it like that, is like thing you know is like this is temporary pain. It's temporary pain. It's not gonna last forever. The light is at the end of the tunnel. I hope I did that answer your question.
You did. Okay, there's another question from Faith Banda. How do you find strength to keep going when the people around you keep discouraging you and asking you different and much easier program after failing once in medical school?
So okay, so discussion is going to take okay, so I will use this example. So even when I was at one point, even when applying to medical school, I thought, well, maybe I could just become a physician assistant or a nurse. And there's nothing wrong with becoming a physician assistant or a nurse. And I was like, because I'm still doing what I love. I love helping people. I'm still gonna be doing what the same work. But one thing that somebody told me was she was like, many times we go in the hospital and there's not a lot of us that are at the top. Many times we are the nurses, many times we are like this different workers that are not at the top. And she was like, you like even though yeah, you could become a nurse, you could become a PA, she was like, you need to go to the top. And and I was like, and that stuck with me because I was just like, I didn't think about it like that. But as a doctor now and I go into the hospital, there's not a lot of people that look like me at all. So, and I always think about like I'm thankful for that one. It's my mom. My mom's a hairstylist, and just sitting down talking, this a random lady. Like I didn't know her that well then, but my mom was just telling her what I was going through and like going back and forth and doing the whole entire journey. So even though it seemed like it was discouraging, her one word of saying you need to go to the top and don't stop until you get there is something that I kept in my head, and even to this day, I went back and thanked her after I graduated from medical school, and I was like, "I wanna thank you for those words you shared with me years ago, because I was able to go to the top and I see exactly what you're talking about." There's not a lot of people up there, so even when people are trying to discourage you, don't let them. People will say whatever they want. But you have to know who you are and know your capability and get to close off negative words and keep putting in positive, because and then show them that you thought I couldn't do this, but here I am. So that's what I would say to that question.
There's one more question, but I don't know if you are able to answer this question. Is so she says she has a sister who is a nurse, a recent
Uh-huh.
graduate. She wants to work in a foreign country like US. Are there nursing opportunities that favor immigrants from countries like Kenya?
I feel like they are. I know sometimes when you come from a different, like if you did your training in a different country, you might have to do some more like prerequisites to make sure that you are in line with the American. I don't know. They have a lot of credentials that you have to do. Um, so I feel like the opportunity, yeah, definitely. Like my sister is a nurse as well. Um, and I mean, she trained here in America, but I feel like there's nurses who came from different countries and are still working. You may have to do certain things. Like I know I have some attendants who are physicians who trained in different countries and they came here to America to have to do additional courses. And then they were able to like work fully as a doctor in America. But I think, yes, she can.
Okay. My this is a personal question. So you did mention
Hmm.
that community did help you throughout the journey, like having your own kind of community. As
Hmm.
a young person, what would you say is the right approach to networking to form a community that is one that provides you the kind of support you need in your career to help you um, go through hard times and then setbacks?
Yeah. So I would say even find a community in medical school. Well, it was easier in medical school 'cause I went to Morehouse, which is a all mainly like a it's a HBCU, so historically black medical school. So there was a lot of people who looked like me who were supporting me. So finding a community there was very like was easier because they were there to support you. But fast forward to going to Emory, where it's not like there's we are represented, but there's not as many of us. I would say that find a community like they offer advisors, and I also like if I'm working with somebody and I feel like I gravitated towards them, then I will like you know keep talking to them and be like, "Oh, like," and some different advice and try to like build a relationship with them. So I feel like if you're in an environment where it's hard to find somebody who looks like you or you feel like you can't connect with, just try to like just comb through like who best like aligns with what you want to like what you want to become um or who has certain like who's willing to help. There you could tell some people genuinely want to help people out no matter like what race or ethnicity you are, like they want to help you out. And then just ask them for help and be like, "Hey, like these are my goals and this is what I would like to do. Can you help me with this?" And it's hard to like put yourself out there, but closed mouths don't get fed. That's my mom will always tell me. So you have to put yourself out there sometimes, even though it's scary, but I feel like in the field of medicine, like networking and putting yourself and talking on your behalf will get you indoors that you wouldn't have gotten in before. And I could even say that with even getting into medical school, like my interview for Morehouse, I reached out to this man that was he was one of the speakers at the med prep program that I got accepted into after graduating from Spelman. And I was like, hey, like I have these interviews coming up. Can you do like a mock interview with me? So I could prepare myself to make sure. I only had 3 interviews now. Well, I had only 2 at that point. And I'm like, I want to make sure I optimize my chances of getting in. So again, I'm putting myself out there to this man. And I'm like, hey, can you help me out? And by me doing that, he is one of like the board members at Morehouse. And he's like, oh, you didn't get an interview at Morehouse? And I'm like, no, not yet. And he's like, oh, let me make a call. Just like that, 2 days later, got an interview. So if I didn't put myself out there, I wouldn't have even had the opportunity to probably even get an interview, because again, I applied so late that they might have looked over my application. So by him saying like, hey, I think this person might be a good candidate, and then they interview me and then I get accepted, and now I'm here. So I would say just reach out to people.
Thank you very much. Are there any other questions? If you have any question, kindly raise your hand, and then if there aren't, I'm going to share a few key takeaways from this session. First of all, one of the things that stood out for me was your start doesn't define your finish. Setbacks are setups for strength. Never doubt your abilities because you belong. Find your community because no one succeeds alone. And then be determined because your story can be someone else's survival. Thank you very much, Dr. Dania. We have on the line the founder of Drive to Inspire Africa, Nanajwa Hackman. She would want to share a few words before we wrap up with today's session.
Thank you all for having me.
Sorry, it looks like we are all having technical difficulties today. Ms. Hackman? Okay. Unfortunately, she's actually on, but she's unable to speak at this point. Thank you very much. Okay. Hi.
Hi. So, Robert.
Yes,
thank
Nana,
you
we can
so
hear
much, Dr. Brewster. I just need to say thank you to you for your presentation. This has been very insightful, and I'm sure that the benefits and the impacts would continue to be felt greatly. I saw the questions that were being asked, and you taking your time to go through and to answer, and most importantly, sharing your personal story has made a great impact, and we're very grateful. Thank you so much for your time. And as usual, thank you all for joining us for this webinar. Wherever you've joined us from around Africa, we are grateful. We thank you, and we always look forward to receiving your feedback as well, so that we can continue to improve on these. And if there are any topics, there's anything you'd like to hear more about, please do feel free to reach out to us, let us know, and we would arrange that as well. Thank you so much, and have a lovely evening.
Okay, so thank you everyone, and have a lovely evening.